Hey guys, so today I'm going to make some red snapper two ways. I have 5 red snappers here. I'm going to bake 3 of them and I'm going to fry 2 of them. So I already washed the snapper in lemon water. I rinsed it out really well. Now I'm just drying out that water so I can add my dry rub to it. So I have a dry rub here that I made. I just combined a few different seasonings. So I have some lemon pepper in there, some Cajun seasoning, some dill weed, some all-purpose seasoning, and some paprika. So I'm going to just sprinkle that onto the fish. Oh, I also have some Old Bay in there. So I'm going to generously just season this fish from the top to the bottom and on the inside. This is the only seasoning that I'm going to put on here, so I have to ensure that it's seasoned well. I'm going to add a little more seasoning on top of the vegetables when I assemble the fish, but for the most part, especially for the fried ones, this is all the seasoning that it's going to get beside the green seasoning. So I'm just gonna just rub that in, flip it over, and just get that seasoning on both sides. Once I'm done rubbing that in, I'm going to add my green seasoning. Now I made this green seasoning on my I have this recipe on my channel how to make this fresh green seasoning. So I'm going to just add that green seasoning onto there and season the fish also with that so that it can marinate. So I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to rub this in the same way that I rubbed in the dry seasoning. Just ensure that I get it on the inside, at the bottom, all over the fish. This fresh green seasoning is really good. It gives the fish a really nice, delicious flavor. As I said in my seasoning video, this is what we use for all our fish and meats in Trinidad. So once this is done, I'm going to cover it with a foil and I'm going to refrigerate this for, you can do it for up to 30 minutes to 3 hours. It's up to you. You can even do it for longer, but I'm going to leave it for approximately 3 hours. Once I take that out of the refrigerator, I'm going to start assembling my fish. So now I have a foil. I added some lemon slices at the bottom, and then I put the fish on top. Then I'm adding some slices at the top of the fish. Now I'm going to add some bell peppers. At the top of that, I have green, red, orange, and yellow bell peppers. So I'm going to just add those at the top of the fish. Then I'm going to add some onions. And some carrots. I have some grated carrots. I'm going to just add that at the top. Once I'm done adding the carrots, I'm going to cut up some butter and put at the top of it. The butter is going to give the fish a really nice flavor. So once I'm done with the butter, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the dry fish seasoning onto there, and I'm just going to close up the foil. Before I close up the foil, I'm going to add a little more seasoning. I feel like you don't have enough, so I'm going to add a little more. Now I'm going to close it up. You don't want to close it too tight. I mean, you want everything to stay intact, but don't close it too tight because you want the fish to steam properly. So I'm going to continue on this process. I'm going to show you one more time how I did the fish from start to finish. So first I laid a foil down. I put 2 lemon slices at the bottom, and I'm going to just lay the fish onto that. Once the fish is laid on there, I'm going to add some lemon slices at the top of the fish. Now I always put lemon on my fish. When I'm cooking my seafood, I always cook it with lemon. I always place the lemon at the bottom and at the top like this. And now I'm going to add some bell peppers. I have some different color bell peppers here, and then I'm going to add on the onions. Next step, I'm going to add on my carrots, my shredded carrots. Once the shredded carrots is on there, I'm going to cut up some butter and place it at the top. After putting the butter on there, I'm going to sprinkle a little more of the dry seasoning. Once I'm done sprinkling that, I'm going to close up the foil, and I'm going to bake this fish on 375 for about 25 to 30 minutes. And I'm going to show you what my fish look like once it's out of the oven. So here is my fish. It is out of the oven. It is thoroughly cooked. It is nice and flaky. You see I put that fork through there, how nice and moist it is. And you see all that liquid in there? That's going to keep it nice and moist and juicy and tasty. So I'm going to put this on a platter and you're going to see what my fish look like. To make some fried snapper, I have a fish, what can I say? It's a fish fry that I made. It's with flour and cornmeal and some seasoning in there. Cutting the tails off of the fish so that it will fit properly in the pan. I also put a few little cuts on the front of the fish just to keep it flat while frying. So now I'm going to just cover this fish with this mixture that I made and just make sure that it is, you know, all over it, because I want this to fry really nice and crispy. So I'm gonna make sure that the fish is well covered in this fish fry mixture. Once I'm done doing that, I'm going to put a pan on the stove with some oil. I'm going to let that oil heat up to about 375 degrees. So I'm going to put in my candy thermometer to ensure that it gets up to that temperature. And then I will fry my fish. So now that it's up to 375, I'm going to remove my candy thermometer and I'm going to start frying my fish. Now when you add this fish to the pan, you want to always put it away from you, because you don't want the oil to splash on you. So once you lay that in there, lay it away from you like that. Oh. So you're gonna let that fish fry for about 5 minutes on each side, and once it's nice and crispy golden brown, you can remove it from the pan and you will have your wonderful fried whole snapper. And here you go, my red snapper fried.